I recently visited a museum, and one of the exhibits was about the mining history in the area. There were miners from all over the country, in the United States as well as Mexico. The exhibit was really cool. They took you through what a town would be like in that area. They also showed different rooms of a house, and within those rooms, they had lots of antiques for the time period. In one particular room was a child's room. It had a lot of toys. There were a lot of dolls, old dolls, dolls from the 1800s. And a couple of them gave me the absolute creeps. One of them felt like it was staring at me. Of course, I moved on, not thinking much of it. That night, came home, everything was normal, had dinner. Then I woke up from a sleep around 3 a.m. and something was putting pressure on my neck. I had a nightmare before this happened, but the pressure on my neck kept getting more constrictive. Not enough to choke me, but definitely enough to make me feel like something was wrong. And it kept going until I started coughing. And once I started coughing, the pressure started increasing. I was definitely awake for this. The coughing became so bad that my husband woke up. It felt like something unseen was choking me. I told him this. Now he believes in otherworldly things just like I do, and he told me maybe I brought something back from the museum, and I agreed. As soon as I said that, the choking let up, but then we heard something crash in the living room. What crashed was this piece of art that I had from New Orleans. It was a piece that had 3 skulls on it. A little creepy, but I like it. But that thing should not have crashed down. It was pretty secure. So my husband and I went through the house, and he was saying audibly for that thing to leave me alone. And it did. I still have no idea what happened, but could it have been a miner that attached itself to me as I came home? Or some other dark entity? We'll never know. But I'm glad it's gone now. When I was in high school, I liked to visit cemeteries, especially some that had some age to it. Growing up in California, most of the headstones you see in cemeteries are flat. This is because of earthquakes. You can tell a cemetery has some history to it if they have actual headstones, the kind you see in haunted movies or on the East Coast. There was one cemetery I was really wanting to visit. I just hadn't had a chance to yet. It was massive, and you could tell it was old because the headstones were huge. I didn't have that much time, but I did still have a little bit of sun left. I took my sister with me, for safety reasons. This cemetery was in Inglewood, California. I drove in, and I'm no stranger to cemeteries. To me, they're usually pretty peaceful. But as I drove in, it's like the sky got dark. Everything in that cemetery got dark as soon as I drove into the gates. The sun was about to set, but the way that it got dark did not seem natural. We drove in, we looked at each other because we both felt it. It didn't just get dark, it felt dark. It felt heavy, almost like I couldn't breathe. We looked at each other with terrified eyes, and I was like, we need to get out of here. Which was a shame because I was looking at those headstones and how beautiful they were, but also how spooky they were at this moment. So I made a U-turn pretty quick. And as soon as we got out of the gates, things seemed to lighten up again. Like I said, I'm no stranger to cemeteries. I'm not someone that's easily spooked by them. But that experience was one I will never, ever forget.
I will never, ever forget.
I have a question for you. Have you ever seen a ghost cat? I've seen a ghost cat in our new home, along with my youngest and my oldest. In our old house, my oldest used to see a cat all the time glowing from his closet, never really leaving the closet, just sitting there, staring at him through the night. He's braver than I. He learned to just fall asleep with it. But have you ever seen a glowing ghost cat?
Have you ever seen a glowing ghost cat?
Thanks again for listening to Spooky Stories with the Drawlers. If you're listening to it on the night I upload, happy Halloween! Stay safe out there, guys, and stay spooky.